I believe the first time Defiants went into action in force, they shot down some 37 fighters and bombers without loss. The Germans were unpleasantly surprised by the new 4-gun turret, which fires through an unusually wide arc, including right over the tail.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another Heavy Metal Diecast video, and another one here from DeAgostini. Obviously, one of the magazine types in 1/72nd scale, a diecast, and we have ourselves here a Boulton Paul Defiant. This is a Mark I, I believe, and it is from RAF Squadron 151 or 151 over England in 1940. Now, 151 Squadron was originally formed in 1918, flying Sopwith Camels for the final 5 months of World War I before being disbanded in 1919. Reforming again in 1936, the unit was equipped with the Hawker Hurricane, de Havilland Mosquitoes, and the Boulton Paul Defiant, like the one we have here. Speaking of, we'll get this open while we're talking. The actual unit would be active for the whole of World War II, and at the end of the war, it would be, I think it was in 1946, it would be disbanded once again. So this is the typical DeAgostini magazine ones that you do get. I usually get mine loose, but obviously, as you can see, this one does have the complete package. So we'll get that little sort of display area off, and we have our little unit here as per usual. And we have that magazine that these do come with. Obviously, I did buy this from a Japanese seller a while ago, along with a lot of my other Japanese aircraft. And it's in Japanese, so if you speak Japanese, these are pretty handy. But if you don't, at least you can just check out some pictures here and there. And it's got some really detailed pictures in. Oh, that is our aircraft right there. So it's got a lot of detail about that. But unfortunately, I can't speak Japanese, so I am a little bit blind to it. But I don't know a lot about our particular aircraft or who flew it. So you know, it does look pretty reasonable. We'll see if we can get this open. Of course, we'll do it with our bare hands. Because I mean, you don't really put these back in these boxes ever again. I'll try not to be too noisy. Boy, that's it. So just that red backing as usual, and then. Well, as you can see, it's got that little base there, and it's got the landing accessories if you want gear up or gear down like usual. We'll get this shiny part off so we can have a look at this nice black aircraft. The actual finish on it doesn't look too bad. We will grab this big chunk of metal out. It is pretty reasonably hefty. There is a little baggie as usual that does have some more accessories in there. We'll move that out of the way and have a look at this Boulton Paul Defiant. All on its bare bones as it comes straight out of the pack, and to be honest, straight out of the pack, it is not too bad. It's got some okay panel lines there. We did a Corgi one a while ago, which was really nice, so it'll be interesting to see how this one fares. But it does have a little shark's mouth that does make it look pretty unique, and shark's mouth always makes an aircraft look pretty cool. But the markings do look well applied. The actual satin black's pretty well applied as well. This can be a hard colour to paint. Not only paint, a hard colour to show through a camera as well. The turret, does it? No. It's all in a fixed position. So with these aircraft too, for them to be able to fire, this section here normally comes down, and that comes down so the turret can rotate around. On the Corgi one, you could swap out some pieces for firing position or non-firing position. This you cannot, from what I see at the moment. But overall, it's got some okay engine detail. It is just feels like a big chunk of metal, so it's pretty solid. There are no pilot figures in this at all. We will turn it underneath and have a little look. It's all the black. It does have a little bit of an oily residue, as you can see that shiny area there. These quite often do have that. So I gather that's like a sort of an oily residue from a release out of the molds when they're made, which is sort of a little bit strange considering they're all painted then. And yeah, I don't know why these ones, especially, have this sort of film on there. But overall, the details themselves aren't that bad. For a cheaper budget model, I did get this pretty cheap, like I have gotten the majority of these DeAgostini aircraft. It was generally around the $25 to $30 mark. And I reckon it does set up all right. Oh, speaking of setting up all right, what we'll do is we'll go set this Defiant up and come right back. All right, we are back. Now, I have put this in gear down first, so you can check this out, gear down, so you guys that like yours in flight will have to wait a moment. Now, very straightforward process. It is really hard to see because it's black. The actual black on this is not as flat as the one that was on the Corgi. It has a little bit of a shine to it, so it's reflecting the light a little bit. There is 2 gear bay doors that you just put on there on the inside, and then you just drop your landing gear on either side. And that main landing gear is actually very basic. It looks a little bit, so depending on your fuss level, there are no, it doesn't really even look like the wheels are too definitive from the actual gear bay door. They're sort of, it looks a little bit average. Yeah, I'll admit that. And of course, you put the tail wheel in there, and then there's the aerial just in front of that tail wheel, and of course, there's an aerial just where that landing gear is at the front here. And of course, you put that propeller on, which does spin quite nicely, and that is a job done for setting up this interesting looking Boulton Paul Defiant, of course. And does it hold the weight, because it is a reasonably weighty aircraft, and it does hold it perfectly. And that is how your aircraft's going to look gear down on the deck, sitting on your shelf, of course. But, of course, there's those of you, those weird guys that like to put their aircraft in flight. We will have a look at the way you will display yours. So we'll set this up in flight and come right back. All right, this is how your aircraft will look in flight. And to be honest, this actually sets up a lot better in flight. It is just those 2 gear bay doors that you put in. Other than using magic to hold those doors in place, you do need to put a little bit of blue tack in there, because they do just drop out. There's nothing for them to click into, so they just sit there. So usually as soon as you do that, they sort of drop out. So yeah, that is a little bit unfortunate, but it does look a lot better than the actual extended landing gear. And I reckon it does come up quite nice. Of course, you leave that tail wheel in, because that's how they are. And that is your aircraft in flight, and it does look very nice. And of course, if you do want to put it on the stand, it does come with that stand. It does have some details on that stand, which is actually different to what's on the magazine images. And you just stick it in the hole. Because the research that I did for this aircraft, it was a Mk.I that I found some images for, and that's what the people said for the associated image was a Mk.I from 1940. Yet on the magazine, it says it's got the Squadron right, from what I gather. But it says it's a Mk.II from 1941, so forgive me if I was incorrect at the start. But and also, if I annoy you again with this image, I don't know if you can quite see that. It says Mk.II on that base, whereas our base does not have that kind of detail on there. It just says Boulton Paul Defiant, NF, United Kingdom. So there is a little bit of differences to what's in the magazine to what you actually get in your hands. And speaking of hands, that is a sausage finger test right there. It is not too bad a size, of course. And this is how your aircraft's going to look when it's sitting on the stand, of course. Compared to the Corgi one, it's probably not as good. Like the Corgi's one, the turret moves and everything. Maybe I might even do a comparison video for the first one, just to test out that sort of format too. But we'll wait and see. But look, overall, it's not too bad for a budget aircraft. So, of course, it comes down to you, the viewer, and your particular fuss level, and how fussy you do get with your diecast models and the quality you want. And of course, it comes down to money as well. Not everyone's super rich, and that's me included, despite the amount of model videos that I have done and the models that I do own. But I will stop waffling on about this aircraft and wind this video up, so I'll take some happy snaps of this, of course, the usual deal, and you can check out the slideshow at the end if you want to see this without my hands all over it. And of course, if you do like this, give us one of those if you can find that button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have yet to do so. All right, once again, I thank you so much for those of you that have made it this far. I appreciate your viewing time. So once again, this is 1/72nd scale by DeAgostini, and it is the Boulton Paul Defiant from 151 Squadron in England, sometime during World War II. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. You all have a fantastic rest of your day. Cheers, everyone.